question and answer time with Todd and Aaron.
It's time for Q&A with TNA. By the way, that stands for Todd and Aaron.
Right. We totally needed a fake wall last night.
I know, we really did. We really did. All right, everybody. Well, welcome into Q&A with TNA, and that stands for Todd and Aaron. In fact, we better fix that up here.
Woo, here we go.
Whoa! Oh, look at that. That felt weird.
Magical.
Magical for sure. All right. Well, Todd is back home, as you can tell, but he was right here last night in the flesh. So
I was. It was for some whatever reason I used to remember that trip taking 4 or 5 hours. Maybe 5 or 6. And I think maybe that's, I don't know why. Maybe we'd make stops or something. But it's only like 4 hours. It was pretty quick, pretty easy. Today was an eventful day on the way back, though. I will say that.
Let's hear that story.
So one, what the hell is going on downtown St. Louis where you can't get to the arch? Like every road it tried to take me on, it was blocked off. Like, what is going on? Like, yeah, nope. I tried 3 different navigations between waves, what was in the car and what was on my phone, and they all were taking me different directions. So I figured one of them's got to be right? One of them's got to be right. And if you go on the street, there's parking blocks just boom in the road, and then there's it looks like flood wall gates closed. And I'm like, what's going on? So we can see the arch. We can see people over by it. And by the third time around, I'm like, there's the arch, kid. I felt like Chevy Chase, in European Vacation. There's the arch. Hey, look. There's the arch. I'm like, we're done.
Look, kids, done. Big Ben, Parliament.
Yeah, we're done. There it is. That's what we got to it. So that was fun. And then, it rained. It rained. And the best thing about driving in the rain is, when it's still bright out. So it's bright enough for sunglasses, but you see the sunglasses, but you really can't see because the rain's coming hard enough. So then you go back and forth or squinting, doing whatever. Yeah, it was it was joyful to say the least. But made it back in one piece. No tears were shed on either drive down. So I think that's a win in my book.
Yeah. And we're talking about you, right? You weren't. No tears were shed by you.
No tears were shed by anybody.
Oh, okay. Anybody.
Driver, passengers, none. It was great.
Wow, that's impressive. Good deal.
Yeah. Because usually I can be a bad driver if I have a tired navigator, and when I'm trying, I'm like, look, because I'll do most of the stuff, but when it's raining and there's semis that don't really know what lane they want to pick in, I'm like, okay, here we are. My biggest pet peeve is I want a gas station that's right off the interstate. I don't want to have to drive into town to a gas station. And so I'm like, just find the gas station that's right off the interstate. And it's not that big of a deal. Just go to this one. I'm like, okay, fine. We'll go to this one. And I went to this one. And guess where it took me? To a gas station that wasn't there. It lied. It was actually like a block up and around. Wow. And I thought, I'm like, this is why I want to only go to gas stations that I can see from the interstate, because I don't know how far away they are. And I just want to stop there, get whatever we need to get, and then get back on track. So, other than that, we're fine. We're fine.
Good. All right. Well, let's see who we've got checked in here, tuning in. Todd, this should be yours.
Chuck?
Hey, Chuck, good to see you. And then, hello, Valerie.
She's probably working her hiney off, because I know she has quite a big embroidery jobs that she's been doing. So probably in the office, or she's in the hot springs. That kind of seems to be her. She's either in the office or the hot springs. So I'm gonna go office today.
Yeah. All right. Well, so last night on Tuesdays with Todd, if you weren't there for that, you definitely need to go check it out. You can head over to liveosg.com. What's the other one? Fat Dad Live, right?
That's right.
There we go. fatdadlive.com. And you can go check that out. Todd was actually here in my studio / little production area over here. Yep. And we did some DTF transfers on the Epson F2100. So it was good. I was giggling about Valerie's comment here, Todd. She said, no service at the hot springs. So working away.
So there we go. It was there. We that's what I figured. She's in one place or the other, so she's commenting. I guess she's in the office. I guess. You know.
There you go. So anyhow, the reason I bring that up, obviously we had a good time and I got to experience what Tuesdays with Todd is all about. I was telling Todd this on a volley earlier today. And yeah, I was actually a little bit nervous about this because I don't do Tuesdays with Todd style, but it worked out just fine.
Yeah, it is because you see what happens. And I think one of the things, like you said, that you were cleaning up the mess of there. DTF is messy. That's the thing, is when you're doing it, you need an enclosed container for it and that, because we did, but what, maybe, I don't even think we did more than 4 sheets. Right? I
was going to say 3 or 4 at most. Yeah.
And I mean, that powder just gets everywhere. It just gets everywhere on the stuff, but you can do a little enclosed space for it. It works up, but you actually see there's nothing really to be scared of. It's super simple, especially on your machine, and if somebody wants to upgrade and get the rip for it, so that way they don't have to do the stop, pause, double, whatever, then you're just boom, 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 rock solid on it. But that's where I think, when now when somebody says, hey, I'm looking to do 25, 30 shirts, a week, what do you think is the best equipment? It's going to be a DTF or a DTG, because you're able to do those shirts. And when you need the transfers, you're able to print them. And I don't think you can go wrong with it, because it does open up so many more opportunities that you're able to do with your DTG, because you're able to make the transfers for it. So I think we got you headed in the right direction with some fun stuff.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think it was really cool. But the other thing that I told you that I don't want people to sleep on here is that, the other, like I said, it was a little bit messy, right? It's definitely still takes some work and all this other stuff, right? If you can do it, I would probably still, like what I'm wearing right here. This is one that Todd printed for me, right? So I still have lots of work to get my colors dialed in, right? And so, but I bought transfers from Todd and put this on in about 15 seconds, right? And made 4 other shirts. And a half hour later, I had 4 great OSG shirts, right?
And that's the thing, where you got to find what's best for you. If you already have the equipment, hey, now this is just another tool in the box. If you're looking at a reason to be able to do print on demand, and that's why you're getting, a DTG, perfect. This is what. If you want to just do DTG, or just do DTF, then I wouldn't go straight, to a DTG, because you are spending a price point for that. When right around there, starting off there, you can get like a 13-inch wide one, and everything with that for roughly that same $15,000. So, a lot of it depends on what you're gonna want to do. But when I look back, and I've always said, if I had to do all over again, I would just sub everything out. And I finally have, talked to some other people that already currently have, 7-figure businesses, and they said absolutely that's what I would have done too. Is I would have subbed everything out until I hit 100,000 in sales, and when I hit 100,000 in sales, I would have looked at my departments to see which one brought me in the most revenue, and if that one was worth then bringing in house. Because if it's screen printing, okay, then maybe let's look at bringing it in house. If it's a laser, let's look at bringing something in house. That way, you can still offer everything, and then your focus is still there. But now I'm able to perfect one thing while the other stuff is still producing, because I've already got it to do that. And I know it's tough. I said this year now, after getting to play with the DTG, and of course, like, the DTG would be fun for those one-off shirts. And I'm not, because you got to think on my end. It's the opposite. If I just want to do one transfer, it's a pain, because I've got, 3-foot lead of film that you have to go through. You're printing it, you're powdering it, you're going all through that for one. That seems like it's a lot easier just to, get that pre-treated shirt and put it on the platen and step down and hit the button. So they said, I don't believe there's a one size fits all type of thing. There's so many things. So I'm not getting a DTG, but man, I the possibility is there. I won't say. I never say never anymore. Never say never.
Well, when you decide to get a DTG, let me know. We'll probably be ready to part with ours. So.
Great.
All right. Let's see who else is checked in here. We've got Christy. Hello, Eric. Welcome in. Travis says, somehow I was on the morning mindset that had no video this morning.
So he's probably on Fridays. Fridays, were you on? Did it have sound or did it have nothing? Because there's the one. Because what I usually do on Sunday is I schedule my week out. So I'll schedule morning mindset Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I'll schedule Tuesday with Todd, and I'll schedule, like this week it was Q&A with TNA. So that way I'll send out that email on Sunday, and it'll have the links for all the shows. So that way you can just go in and click the reminders and do that. So maybe you were on Friday. Maybe you're early for Friday, Travis.
Maybe. All right. Dean asks, is Aaron converted to DTF? Like I said, I still got some work to do on the colors. So I don't know. And again, when I weigh that out, like, okay, I could spend the time doing that, right? Mm-hmm. Todd gave me all the tools I needed to be able to be successful with this. And like he said, it's not that difficult, nothing to be afraid of. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, I will have to spend some time kind of going, okay, how do we get this, right? How do we get there, when I can also go, here's a file, Todd.
Well, and that was the crazy thing, because the file that we printed was the file that Aaron sent me, which is the file that I used to print those transfers. Because we all know sometimes things can happen to file. So I sent that same file back to him, and it was still, we had that on one screen, it looked exactly like it was on a shirt. And on the other screen, it looked like exactly it was printed on the DTG. So talk about magical, right? I mean, there's a magical thing to figure out where you're going through it. And I totally get, Dean, where you said, last night with couldn't get the teals right. Because here, I can do it on it. It is not just a press play. Let's go with that.
No, my blues are way too deep. So got to figure out how to get that out of it. So, and honestly, from what we printed last night on the video was way better than what we had printed before. So, anyhow. All right. Well, let's see here. Dean says the new software is out any day and it will have the DTF in it.
Nice. And that's got to be on the Epson, because is there a newer Epson which is pretty much the same thing? Right? Is it 21 or is it?
No, 2100 is the newest in that format. There's a 3070, I think the number is.
So because we knew that there was the piece of software that you can buy that for the upgrade, right? That they're selling and able to do this.
I think so.
I think so. And so, yeah, it makes sense. Put it in there, because to me, if I'm selling, a DTG, especially with so many converted printers for DTF that people are able to get for under $5,000, that's where they're saying, oh, DTG is dead. Well, that's because all these other ones are in here at this, and it's not dead. Well, what it is now here's a way that you're able to do more with that same machine, And if I'm selling a DTG, I'm selling on both sides of it. Here's this that is going to handle everything that you can throw at it, and for the stuff that you can't throw at it, guess what? Now you can use it to make transfers, and now it's pretty unstoppable force there. Because the other thing, thinking about that is one of the things that you'll have issues with, or that you can have issues with, is just like anything else, is with the dye migration, where you'll start to have the colors through. So say white on a red poly, and if you're pressing it, that 325 in that, you can have some of that color thing. So you can back down the time and go on there. But something else that you're able to do is you're able to use the black adhesive powder, that acts as the blocker. So on like the poly blocker HTV that has the black coating on it, you're able to use that. Well, in mine, we're not doing that, because you're not changing out powder in the machine just to run a couple of those. And so what you could do is, if you're hand powdering, it's simple enough just to run it through that, and hey, that's not a bad gig there. So I think if you have a DTG, there shouldn't be any reason for you not to at least experiment with finding the mess in that. You got the equipment, try it. If it's not for you, order transfers, but you at least have the equipment.
Love it. All right. Well, Todd, so excuse me. The other thing that we had done last night is we gave people an opportunity to get a little pack from us. And I don't remember all the things that you said we should have in the pack, so we'll figure that out here. But what was on the list?
I think it was, we were doing the DTG shirt, so they could actually feel what a DTG print is, and then them transfers so they could make their own shirt. So I think that's what was that. Does that sound right?
Sounds good to me. Yeah, we'll get a care packet together. So so we have drawn a winner, and I'm going to see if I can get to that. Now, here's how we did it. So I just put these names in a completely random order. I didn't tell Todd any of the names on there, and I said, here's how many they are. You just give me a number. So that way it's completely blind, right? There's no, and he gave me a number, and so I corresponded that number. And I'm going to put it in the chat, maybe if I can see it. My computer's in the way here. So, okay, there we go. Sherry Rawlings.
Woohoo! There you go. It's in the chat.
There you go. Sherry Rawlings is the winner. So we'll be in touch with you, Sherry, and get that out to you here in the next day or so, but definitely by Saturday. So we should
Sweet.
be able to do that. Let's see what else we've got in the chat here, Todd, before we get into the questions.
There's nothing.
Yeah, Travis said nothing, so probably was on that. Jerry says reminders is the only way I survive, Todd. Keep sending them, please. So there you go.
Well, and what started was I get those reminders once a week. There's a couple people that I follow that, were signed up for training and stuff. And it's like, okay, who's what? But I know on Sunday, I usually get that email that says, hey, here's where we are for the week. So, and a lot of it sometimes is just like open office hours. But, if I want the training, okay, I can go here and set the reminder for it. Because if I don't do that, next thing you know, it, like say on Wednesdays, there's the Omniprint one that's at 4 p.m., right? Yeah, because it goes 4 to 5, I believe, our time. Okay. And it's one of those where I'll check and see what it is. And sometimes, it's nothing, and other times it is. But if I don't set the reminder on it, I won't go check it out because I'll just forget about it. But I know it's there. I forget about it.
Nice. Dean said, I made a corrugate plastic box for the powder. Mess is almost nothing now. That's a good idea. Yeah. I think, obviously we were throwing it together on the fly there. So I had a tiny little cake pan and then we ended up taking the top off of one of my son's toy boxes to try to get a little better space. But so, yes, you could definitely manage the mess a little bit better. Yeah,
I think if, somebody's starting off and they're like, hey, what do I do it in? I would get a tabletop blast cabinet, because it's already sealed. They have the light on in it. You have gloves that you can reach through with it. Just do it and everything stays in there. Because even when I found in ours, those particles, especially when you're doing a lot of them, you're popping that off to get off, and that's just airborne. And so, just depending, light breeze can take pollen across the country, right? So it can take dust to places it doesn't show up at. And it's fun.
Yep. All right. Well, shall we jump into the questions here, Todd? Ready for that?
Yeah.
All right. So if you have questions for Q&A with TNA here with Todd and Aaron, you go to oursuccessgroup.com/QA and you can put those in. We'll be back next week for Q&A again. So, go ahead and get those in because we want to get them in there. That way it allows us to have them all set and ready for you. And we can make sure that we've got some answers and that type of thing. So ready for number ones here, sir?
Yeah. Let's go.
All right. First question is, I need a new heat press. Is one brand better than another?
Oh, that's a tough one. That's like saying, is a Ford better than a Chevy? A heat press, the best one for you is going to be the one that fits your budget. And then the next best one is one that's not imported from China on eBay, Alibaba, or Amazon. There are some like the fancier studios and things like that. You're going to be able to get a decent heat press.
Yeah.
But a lot of times it's a crapshoot. You don't know what you're going to get. So, I say, well, buy what your budget can afford. But, if you have the budget for it, you want to look at Hicks, you want to look at Stalls, you want to look at
just
Jig Knight. What
Stalls is Hottronics.
Yeah. Yep. The Hottronics.
Sorry.
The Instapress.
These things. Insta.
Yep. These are ones that you want to look at because those ones they're going to. I can't say they're going to last the life of your business because, chances are there could be an issue with it. Because what I'm noticing is the stuff from 20, 30 years ago that didn't have all the fun electronics with it. Because where I've seen most of the issue is the control boards, because it's an electrical component. Things just happen. Whereas the other ones didn't have that. It was pretty much a set dial and there was very minimal things with it. So those things are going to last damn near forever.
Yeah. And all four of those that you named there, Todd, they all come with lifetime warranties on their heat platens. So
yes, that's true.
And like you said, maybe boards, some electronics and things like that could go out and you can replace those. But if your heat platen's gone, right, you're getting cold spots or, whatever, you're not replacing that. So it's warranted and then they will replace that for you. Yep. So that's a good point. And then I agree with you completely with what you said as far as like what's your budget and that kind of thing. But I want to make sure that for me, it's really important to be super clear about this, that this is the center of, if you are a heat printing business, right, this is what you're doing. This is the center of your business. So what your budget is shouldn't be the cheapest thing you can find, right? Your budget has to be what you can invest in your business. For every dollar that you invest in that heat press, and that gives you more productivity, better chance, less spoilage because your press is even heat, all that kind of fun stuff. That all goes a long way, and that's all part of the investment. So if you're like, oh, my budget is this, well, if you make sure that your budget is about your return on investment, not just I want to be the cheapest thing that I can find. I think that's really important. And go ahead.
And I know people who've got in, and you can get a decent press for under $500.
Yeah.
And it could last you a while. It could last you a couple months. It could last you till the day after warranty. That's just part of it. But just know that it might not be your forever press. And if your forever press is $1,500, $2,000 on up from there, just figure out, hey, if I'm going to keep back $1 from every job, well, I need to sell 1,500 jobs or 2,000 jobs. Make a goal and set it for it. Here, this is what I'm going to pull out of each job because I want that. So that way, your business is going in the direction you have. And then, what's the worst thing about that? It's now you have two presses, right? So if anything happens, you have it. And what I like to do is when you have fronts and backs or things that might take a different, you use one type of transfer on one side or something there, you can set them, and then you get really good especially when it comes to sublimation. So did I even sublimate? Where the hell did that come from? Wow. Yeah. When you have that, you can have a press just for that, right? Because then that just kills it when you don't have to adjust everything every time and rock it out that way. So definitely, do whatever you can to invest that back into your business.
Yeah. And then let me say another thing about this. Like you said, you listed off the main ones. Within all that, you've got different kinds, right? So you've got things like the swingaways versus the clamshells, and you've got, like you talked about, some of them that have all the electronics and all that kind of stuff. So like the one with probably the most toys, gadgets, I guess, kind of electronic side of it is probably the Fusion. Would be my guess, which is a Hotronics product. So that's the other thing you got to think about is what's ultimately the best use for what you're trying to do. And now, can you make things happen? We prove it over and over again, Todd. You make all sorts of stuff on a clamshell press. But if your business is just going to be sublimation, I'd look at something that is a swing away or, a drawer style press like the Fusion. Actually, Fusion's both a swing away and a drawer style press, because you are going to have more consistency getting that heat straight down on it that way. Now, like we just said, do you need that, right? So if you're doing a little bit of mixture, maybe you're going to do some apparel along with some sublimation and stuff like that. Clamshell all day. I mean, I know you use one. We made 5,000 ornaments on a 15 by 12 press, right? Yeah.
Well, you have to look at it on the clamshells is where the hinge point is. With mine, I have the auto open, and my hinge point, is in the center. So I can hover, I can hover a good inch above everything. And some of the other ones, the hinge point is the back. So, you've got more pressure in the back than what you do where it closes at. Even my old Hicks, that one, the throat on it was huge. I mean, I bet in the back, where you burn yourself every time for putting something on there because the drawer doesn't slide out. I've never once burnt myself on that one. I probably will next time because I think there's a good 6 inches in that back of where it closes it in there. So it's a lot of times, it depends on the press. And then something else you got to think about if you get a swing away, just, with a clamshell, you're right here.
Yep.
There's nothing. With a swing away, now I'm over here. So I got to make sure that I have that room. Yeah. Because if I don't, then what are you going to do? So you have to make sure you have that room for it as well.
I can't tell you how many shops I've been in that have swingaways that have a nice big dent in the wall next to their swingaway.
Oh yeah, I totally see that.
All right, let's catch a couple of the comments here. Dean says, "I think I recognize the mug." Do you have a mug out? Is that what he's talking about, or is the green one behind you? Maybe.
Which mug? My mug?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Wait, that was a while ago, so we may have. Oh, that mug right there, maybe that you just lifted up.
That mug? I don't know. Maybe.
I don't have one in front of me right now. All right. Hey, Curtis, good to see you. Eric says Cricut is the Pinto of heat presses. There's been lots of discussion around that lately, so we'll leave that alone for now.
Press? Yeah.
Yep. Melanie, any reviews on the Stalls 15 by 15? So Stalls is, like I said, Hotronics is their heat press brand. Mm-hmm. I think it's I think it's a good press, right? I mean, I think it's got a lifetime warranty. If it is one of the the probably an auto release. I'm guessing. I think all of the Hotronics clams are auto release. Does that sound right, Todd?
I
don't know.
I don't know.
Okay.
I honestly don't know.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, and so I think it's a good investment. I mean, you know, I don't think you can go wrong. You know, I'm personally, so George says Geo Knight, great press. That's what I've got here. One of the presses that we have here is a Geo Knight. To me, they're a little harder to operate, I think, than some of the other ones, just from the way that's kind of built and put together. But they're freaking tanks. I mean, you could probably bolt, you know, you probably set that in the back of a truck and let it fly around and still work. So I don't know.
Well, then, you know, last night was the first time that I used one, and I think that the Geo Knight is a lot better for vertically challenged people because that pole is way far forward, as opposed to, you know, on the Hotronics, which is, you know, when it's open, it's almost dead center straight up with it. You know, you're really reaching for that. Where that Geo, it's right there. So, you know, there's, like I said, there's going to be pluses and minuses to every press, and this is a prime example of why you should go to a trade show. Yeah. Because chances are you're going to see all the variations, and you're going to see things that you like and dislike a lot of. And a lot of times, you know, you won't think about it until you actually use it. Like me, I've gotten, you know, I know how this one works. I know, you know, where I'm grabbing. I know that. I know Corey, you know, we keep it a little lower so that way she has it. But thinking about it last night, I'm like, oh, this makes perfect. You could have, you know, she's just right there with it to be able to grab it and not have that big reach up and over for it.
Yeah. All right. So let's just, you know, there's a couple more that we can talk about here in the comments too, but I want to you know, we can name names, right? We can call out our favorites. I want to hear from you, Todd, and I'll share mine too. If money wasn't an object and you needed a 16 by 20 press, let's just say, so that way we're kind of in the same ballpark here, what would be the press that you would go buy?
Oh, money, not an object. So money, not an object.
And it's got, so it can't be like special. So 16 by 20, either swing away or clam or whatever, money object.
Can I go, well, could I go with the air fusion shuttle, you know, so I can do can I?
I said no air, but if you want to, you can go with that. I think getting an air press would be the way to go for sure.
Right. That's how you feel. I'm like, that'd be the way that I would do it, as I would go an air press, because that way I don't have to worry about what is 60 PSI, what is this. I just hit the
all right.
button.
So if you couldn't do air though, right?
It's tough to say because I haven't used everything. Like I love mine, but the pull down on yours, you know, I really dug it. So, you know, and I have to look and see, but I really love our 16 by 20 auto clam. You know, I love how it's worked. We've had it now 4 years, and
and that's one of the gray Stahl's Hotronics ones, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay. Yep. Okay. I like it. Cool. Again, I don't really necessarily think you can go wrong with any of those kind of big four for sure. So I'm gonna go out there and be a little different. They're not as well known, not as out there. I love those Insta presses. They're easy to operate. I know people have had them for 30, 40 years and use them all the time. And they're like, yeah, I've never had an issue with them. So the Insta would definitely be the challenge with the Insta is they're just really expensive comparatively. So they're really at the top end, and they aren't quite as sexy as like a Hotronics might be or something like that. So.
I think they're more they're built for what they're for, an industrial purpose. You know, they're not shiny buttons here, this flashy, that here. We're here to do work. We're here to do work, and we should change their slogan to that. Instapress, we're here to do work. And this
there you go. I'll call up Chris over there and let her know.
I think we could rebrand it and be perfect. You know, and I know quite a few people that are in, you know, the production side of stuff that have imported stuff from China. You know, they've worked with the manufacturers there, and they're bringing in. That's where I've seen, you know, the shuttle presses where, you know, here they've got 16 by 20 set up, and that's what they're doing. And then, you know, just going over to the next one, setting it, and, you know, they've got a great production down on it. Yeah. And there is an opportunity to bring stuff like that if you're willing to take the risk and the investment in it. You know, you have to do your research to make sure that you're buying from somebody who is actually, you know, the one that has it, not somebody who's buying from somebody who's buying from somebody who's buying from somebody that has it. Yeah. You know, you want to make sure that you're getting it from the manufacturer.
For sure.
A lot of times the shipping on it is what's going to kill you. You're going to see, man, I can get that 16 by 20 press for $400. Absolutely, you can, but it's $1,200 to ship it to you. So where does that really leave you at? You know?
Yeah, totally. All right, let's see what else we got in here in the comments before we get to the next question. Jerry says, still love the Fusion Air and sold us years ago. At the time, it was investment, but it's paid off over and over. Yeah, the Fusion's right there with me. But like you talked about, Todd, some of the challenges with all those bells and whistles means there's a lot more points of failure. But when they're working, man, because you do have the best of both worlds, right? You can swing it away, you can drawer it. Platens are easy to exchange. You can, I mean, if you've got any employees, a Fusion would be really good because you just program everything in.
Yeah.
And so they don't have to think about it like, oh, okay, I'm doing a such and such. But hit that button, wait for it to be at the right temp, and away we go. So there's a lot of cool features there. So, all right. Dean said no, the one with the powder.
Camp style one.
Little camp mugs that it was right there. We needed something. So
it's right there. Grab it.
Yeah. All right. Dean says, my Georgia Knight is converted to air. Just punch a button. That's awesome. Yeah. That is cool about the Georgia Knights. You can convert those. That's a good call, Dean. I forgot about that. Maybe I need to do that. Welcome in, Mo.
So then you get a compressor, right? So where are you going to put that? I
know. And it's not like I use it that much. So, all right. I'm just dreaming. It's fine.
We'll put it in the garage. We'll run a hose down because you don't want it in there because it's going to be loud. I mean, I'm already going to get you to buy some new lights with speakers in it. So, hey. That's
actually, Kylie was actually excited about that. So any lights I get to put in here, I don't know what it is. She likes everything like super dark and dungeony. She likes natural light, but we're in a basement. So
right.
I'm like,
I love these, and I love that speaker. I love, I don't use it all. It's not the best sound, but it is pretty cool to have a light with a Bluetooth speaker in it. It makes it where I can just sync it up, and it's cool when you turn it on to hear it go bloop, 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 and you're like, all right, let's go.
Yeah. All right. Well, we're already 32 minutes in, and we've only covered one question. That's what we do. Let's keep moving here, Todd.
Yeah.
All right. I'm just starting out. Is Canva a good design tool, or should I look at something else?
I need to know what you're just starting out doing, right? Because I feel that Canva is great for the business side of your business. On the design side, yes, I know people that can design with Canva, and you're moving from this. You're placing objects where they need to go based on pre-selected patterns of things.
Yeah.
Is it going to work for everything? Probably not. Is it going to frustrate you? Absolutely. Is it going to frustrate the person that you're going to send it to print out for you? 1,000%. Because a lot of the stuff that we've gotten from Canva is not from the paid version. So, the paid version, whenever you pay for something, guess what happens? You unlock its potential. And so then, you really step it up. On the unpaid one,
you can't save transparent PNGs with the unpaid one.
Yeah. I'm like, I'm done.
Can just, when you said that, I'm like, yep, I know why.
Yep. But I think for the business side, I'm learning more and more with every day. It is a very powerful thing. What I'm learning more, especially now here for a couple months using it, is just the simplicity of, I don't have to think of an idea if I want to make a flyer real quick. Because, as we come up, from Valentine's Day to St. Patrick's Day to Easter, guess what? There's already pre-designed things for you, and you're basically just changing out some text in it. And it's pretty sweet. I will say that stuff that would take me previously an hour to do, I can get done in 10 minutes now. And so I can't wait. In fact, that's what we're doing training on, right? Next one? Is that? Yeah, next one. Yeah. That's what we're doing training on. And that's why I've been trying to play more with it, taking what I'm learning through stuff and applying it to that. And it changed how I felt, but I was anti-Canva probably 4 months ago because I'm like, this isn't a real thing. And then, when you get in there to actually do stuff, and especially on the paid side of things, it really opened my eyes on, man, this is way easier to do a lot of this simple digital graphics. Things like flyers, things like, Instagram posts, things like Facebook posts, anything, social media posts in general, here's the tab, here's the format, here's everything that you're set ready to do. And you don't really have to think about it. What text do I want to put in here? Okay, done. Let's move on to the next one. And in that aspect of it, I found it to be a quite useful tool.
Yeah. I I think you're exactly right, Todd. I mean, a lot of it's going to be, if you're just starting out, okay. But here's the deal. The business that we're in is a business of creativity and design.
Mm-hmm.
And so Canva is going to give you some templates, but everything that is you see made on Canva, you see a whole bunch of other people making the exact same stuff, right? So like Todd said, I love it for a lot. In fact, I have the paid version because of all the cool things that I can do with it. We make all the covers and screens and like, so every podcast, and all I have to do is get a picture of the guests we're going to have, and I hit a little button and it removes the background right in Canva for me, right? I could go to remove background BG, but it's like super easy, like you said, to lay these things out. All the templates are right. With the paid version, I can actually make, start with an Instagram post, and then that exact same post, I can say, okay, I need to make this a Facebook post. I need to make it a YouTube cover. I need to make it an email header. And all I do is just hit resize, and it resizes it all. You got to move things around a little bit to make it fit the internal stuff. But I mean, there's so many cool features of it. But even on the unpaid side, there's a ton of great features that you can use, like you said, for quick graphics. To use it as your design tool, I'd get into something like a Corel or depending on what you're doing, Corel or Photoshop right away, as soon as you can, right?
Yeah.
Great place to start. Could get you kind of going. Ultimately, though, the limitations of it are going to show up, and you're going to have some challenges that you need an actual full-fledged graphic design. I mean, even like an Affinity, Affinity photo, and those kinds of you can, that'll get you a little closer, right? But ultimately, I think having CorelDRAW or Photoshop or both is probably where you need to be as a decorator. Yeah, ultimately, right?
Yeah, you could even use something like Inkscape. It's free. It's got a lot of great tools in it. There's a lot of great tutorials on it. And if that's it, vector artwork is to me always preferred, because then I don't have to worry about, hey, can I scale this or not scale this? Because there's nothing better than getting, hey, can you take something this big and I need it this big? Oh yeah, I can do it. You're just not going to recognize it. So let's work with this a little.
We can do anything. It's just not going to look good.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. Cool. Well, I think we covered that one, Todd. I think that's good. All right. So we've got the other question. Why do I feel like we answered this one last week? The next one about Amazon. Any idea? I'll just put it up there and we'll just.
Maybe did we?
I don't know. Did we?
I think we did.
I feel like we did, but maybe not.
We probably did, and I just didn't take it out of there.
Okay. Are the rest of these ones? I don't know. Let
me look. Let me go look.
Just take a quick look and see. They feel like we answered them already. So
I don't know. Maybe.
And I'm going to pop up Eric's comment here real quick. Corel, PaintShop Pro, Affinity, Photoshop, Illustrator, GIMP.
I feel like might not have been last week. Not for the one.
Well, yeah, because it's been 2-3 weeks since we had the last.
Oh, yeah. But the Amazon one, yeah, because we did talk about that one. I do remember talking about that one. Usually I go in and delete them as soon as we're done, so that way maybe I didn't do it this time.
Okay.
I guess that's what happens when it's a travel day.
Yeah, it was a travel day, so that's why I was asking. Yeah, I'm pretty sure we talked about those other two. So we may be done, man. We might get out of here early for once.
Oh,
unless you want to hit those again.
Let's see. We had a quick one. What was the final last? That one? That was going to be 1 to 3 years, depending on storage, depending on material type too. Or are they talking about how long does vinyl last on a garment or outdoor? That could be depending on it as well, because you can get 3 to 5 years on outdoor. You can get 7 to 10, on solid colors, depending on the type of vinyl. Heat transfer, I've seen it 50 washes, no problem. I've seen it 25 washes and fall apart. A lot comes down to the application process. As long as you're applying it correctly, and as long as it's being laundered correctly, and there really isn't a reason not to get your 50 washes out, which is pretty industry standard. Don't ask me how that became an industry standard of 50 washes per garment. It's just been that way for as long as I've known. So Aaron would probably tell us why that is. How they can buy it.
I do actually kind of know this. I can't remember what the company is, but there's it's like a CE or whatever, but it's not CE. Maybe it's Okiotex or something like that. One of these companies that does that, they like test things, right? And they put their seal of approval on it. That was what was determined was the average life cycle of a garment, right? So, even if it's, not washed out or faded or whatnot, people will get rid of a garment after about 50 washes or so typically. So that's where that whole 50 wash thing, because then people start going, well, that's the lifespan of the garment anyhow. It's like, well, not really, but an average, so yeah.
I'll go with that. I'll go with that.
So yeah, so they're basically we're saying that the average lifespan of a shirt is a year, if you're wearing it. But yeah, because like Eric said, once a week for a year.
Once a week for a year. That works for me.
Yeah.
And then what was the other one? So this one, I don't know. This one does not sound
really okay.
That familiar. I mean, I think I
answer that one all the time, so I guess
right.
maybe that's
I think
this
one. I think we have answered it before, but I don't think we answered it there. So what you got for us?
Well, at what point in my business should I get my tax ID and business insurance a must? At what point is it a must? I would say the day that you are planning to take money from somebody for now, that's the ideal time. It must, right? I guess must is the key term there. Legally, technically, it's a must. Do people do it? No. But what normally happens is they do it after the fact because they've already lesson learned, or they've been paying too much for their supplies, and so they finally I got to get a tax ID. And then business insurance, the second you have something in your home that you're doing, or you have a location, because if something happens, right, we're using heat presses that are 15 to 20 amps typically, which is a pretty good load on a normal outlet. In fact, if depending on how your house is wired, it may be too much. And so you're now automatically adding some additional risk to your home that you could light the place on fire. And if you're in there running a business and you light the place on fire, many times homeowners insurance will not cover that if it's discovered that the fire originated from a business, because you have to have business insurance for that. So I would say the second you plan on taking money from somebody, that should be one of the things that it should at least be on your list.
Yep. And on the insurance side of it, contact who you have for your homeowner's insurance. And if you're a renter, get renter's insurance. Like, I don't know where it is anymore, but I know like my very first apartment, it was something crazy, like $4 a month or something for it. But if anything happened, hey, I was covered. Now we know that because we had a separate policy for the business when it was standalone, when we had the storefront, and then when we were in, in our homeowners insurance. And so we brought the business home. We still have two different policies because they're like, which covers which part and which goes over here. Now, one of the things was, well, the business, it will cover this plus this. And I mean, if somebody slips and falls, this is where it gets into some gray area, because does my homeowner's insurance cover it? Or if they were coming to pick something up, does my business insurance covers it? And since we have two different business insurance companies, they said, don't worry about it. We'll get it figured out between us because you're covered one way or another.
Well, exactly. I'd rather be covered and over covered and then not have to. Yeah. Well,
because we just got our bill, and because we only pay it once a year. And I think it did go up like $20 because we were paying just under 600, and now it's like 615 for the year. And that's still because we had in 2021, we still had part of the mall on it. So we just, we kept it there. So everything, there's no, why get rid of more insurance than what I need? I'm already covered. It's already paid for the year. So we'll look at it again this year to see, hey, what are we covered on? Do we need this much? But even at that, under $700 for the year, and we're paying it there. And I know we've got $1 million coverage, and I think it's like $5 million on the other side of it, because we had to go by what the mall required of us. So I remember the first time I saw that, and they're like, oh my God, you need $1 million insurance policy. I'm like, oh my God, what is this? What is this going to cost me? Because before at our previous place, our insurance, I think it was like 200 at our first store at the 500 square foot store. I think it was like $200 for the year. And I'm like, this is fine, because we said, what's required? And she's like, that you have insurance. And we're like, okay. And so we called our agent and they're like, what are the requirements? They said that we have insurance. So they're like, okay, let's look at the building. Here's your equipment. Like, so pretty much we want to cover that your equipment gets replaced, any loss of revenue that might be down, and if something happens to the building, that's your fault. That's what we need to cover. Like, okay. Well, then when we go to the mall and they're like, here, $1 million policies, I'm like, oh my God, what is all this stuff? And they're like, it's next to nothing. I remember our first policy was just under 500. So in 4 years, it's went up, 25%, but it's insurance. So I suspect that. Now, one of the cool things about it was that our agent, I don't know if you remember 2 years ago when we were in the mall, we had the fire in the mall. Yeah. And, and so there was smoke in that, and they called us and they're like, hey, did you have any damages? We're like, I don't know. What do you mean? They're like, the mall, it was on the other side. They're like, any smoke damage? Did you have anything with that? Are you still able to sell everything? Because smoke is a hard thing. If smoke gets in there, it's not coming out. And they even said, hey, we can come in and assess it if it's there. If we had to shut down because of lost revenue, because remember, it was right during Christmas time. So if it would have been closed for a week, they would have, based on what our revenue was prior, it would have covered that. If we had to replace garments, it would have covered that. So, that's pretty cool, to think that to cover as much as we did for the little amount, as much as it drives me bonkers that, what my car insurance is versus what my business insurance is. I'm like, this just doesn't make sense to me, that my homeowner's insurance is cheap. It's cars. I'm like, why? Because, we got kids and there's 4 or 5 cars or whatever. Screw off. I don't get it. Is it because these are stationary things or the other ones are movable objects? I don't know.
They probably have to pay out a lot on the cars.
That's probably 100%. But with that, get the business insurance. It doesn't hurt. Just make a phone call. Tell them what you're doing and get it. I would say get it. As soon as possible. Just because you never know what's going to happen. And I've seen so many times where people are like, hey, I wish, I would have known and I would have had this because, it would have been covered. Something as simple as lightning strikes, for us, because we're like, what happens with that? And like, so I think we had to have, as long as the box was certified, there was something that we had to do. And they're like, yep, everything's fine with it. If it gets to this, then we would go ahead and take care of it. That's what insurance is there, is to help you take it. Because I know, there's that act of God. What happens if it comes through? Do you have to pay it? Because, with us with storm damage, we took 18 months to get our final. We just got back the difference, the depreciation check from it. I think it was like a week and a half ago, and that storm was 2 years ago, when we're just like, they did everything and they're like, here, we'll cut you a check for it. And then if you fix everything, then the difference of it, we'll give that back to you. Because apparently people, have damage to their house and just don't fix it and keep the checks, which I'm like, you're getting paid for it. Why not fix it?
Yeah. Huh. All right. Well, let me give one more pro tip on this insurance thing too. I wouldn't say this is a must, but I'll tell you what, the best thing that I ever did was I got an insurance guy that can just cover all that, right? Because we leased equipment, so we needed a different kind for that. And then, at one point I was renting an office space for a little bit, and then we moved things into here, and then you've got homeowners, and then you've got this, and man, my life got so much easier because I don't care about insurance. I'm not passionate about insurance. I have no clue what their world is all about. So I found a guy that, great guy, local to me, here in the Missouri area. And I call up Kyle and I say, Kyle, here's the change. Here's what's happening. He calls me up once a year and checks in with me. That's it. Right. And I don't have to worry about insurance anymore. So
yeah, that's perfect.
Get a guy.
That's the same way with ours. When they saw, because they're local to us, so they saw it and they knew, hey, do it was this, I wouldn't have thought that. I would have never once thought hey, I wonder if this is covered on my policy and I should go do this. And they're like, no, here's what it is. And there'll be the deductible. And, it's like $500 deductible or whatever. You figure out, if it's worth it or not to stay open or file a claim on that. But it was to know that we had that option available was pretty cool. So definitely a local insurance guy to help you navigate that, because even if your person, your insurance agent, they don't cover businesses, because like our one for our house, they don't. They're like, here, this is what we do here. So they have a separate person that handles for the business side. So, okay. Yep. So we're able to do that. So 2 different policies. It's all just taken care of. I like that peace of mind, that peace of mind does come in handy.
For sure. Yep. So get a guy, get a gal, whatever it is for you. Get somebody to handle that stuff. I mean,
Mhm.
I think that goes for all the things in our business that, are kind of necessary, but man, the quicker you can get the stuff that's not your core, what you're doing in your business, your core genius off your plate. And yes, I know you can't do that all right away. That's totally understandable. But like an insurance guy or, an accountant or things like that. I mean, that stuff will like pay for itself in no time. So
Yeah.
the sooner
And
the better.
the price that it is on it, I mean, it doesn't hurt to find insurance companies be like, you need some shirts, 'cause maybe you can work out a little trade there too, because it's not that expensive. And hey, every dollar counts. So if you're able to get them some merch out the door on it, maybe they need some keychains to give away to people. Maybe they
There
need
you go.
some swag for that.
Yeah.
It doesn't hurt to ask, right? And then
Yeah.
maybe that bill comes down a little bit and they get the stuff they want. So hey, it's worth a shot.
There you go. There you go. All right. What else we got in here? Eric says, oh, wash once a week for a year. Yeah, there we go. Okay. All right, Todd. Well, let's get the heck out of here then. I think we covered it. And again, I don't have the right banner here, but let me get to that. Hit oursuccessgroup.com/QA, Q&A, right? QA. And put in your questions there, and we will be back next week. I think are we back to 5:00 next week? Does that sound right?
Yeah, unless you have anything.
I don't think so.
5 o'clock?
I don't think so. I'll double check my calendar, but I think we're good there. One other thing, if you don't mind me sharing here real quick, Todd, and then I don't know if you've got anything that you need to share, but the Mountaintop Motivation Virtual Summit's been happening today. I've been on and off it most of the day, and just some incredible nuggets already being taken away. So if you want to check that out, there's still time. You can still sign up and see the next couple of days for free. And there's the link, osg.link/MTM.
Because we know a guy presenting tomorrow, right?
Yes. So tomorrow evening, I think it's about 5:00 Central Time is when I'm going on. I have a 30-minute presentation about conquering fear and thrive. And so it's just such a cool opportunity to share this stuff. I was actually talking to somebody today in the mastermind group that I was leading for Jack Canfield, and she was talking about this fear. And I'm like, yeah, I get it. Right. I've been there. And here's the techniques that I've learned. And so that's kind of what I'm going to be sharing tomorrow. Again, huge lineup of amazing speakers, and not every single thing is going to land for you, right? There's a lot of different people. This is not a decorators community thing. This is actually a bigger, just general business. But then there was a lady today talking about getting speaking gigs, and you're going, well, why do I need that well, guess what? If you can make yourself the authority in your space, in your niche, and you're speaking about that, then imagine how many shirts you can sell from that stage. Yeah. Right. So again, it doesn't have to necessarily land for you, but then just some of the things, the mindset shift that you go with as you listen to all these things, and they're 30 minutes a pop. Right. So it's like fast hitting. Right afterwards, he kind of does a little interview, but people are asking questions in there. So it's been a blast. I think it's well worth the price of admission, which is free.
I think that's a great price. And, just to kind of piggyback off, you said, what do you need to know speaking for and do anything like that to be live? Hey, that's what we do here. And what does that do? It adds, us, right. To me, it's hard to buy something from somebody you don't know and you can't see, you're just clicking a button. We've been doing this a couple of years now, and a lot of people know my story and how far back it goes. You can watch some of our old stuff. You can see what we do. And, we're relatable. And so you're able to see, hey, we could be your people. We could not be your people, but we at least here's the free opportunities to be able to see. And that's where I think, a lot of people miss out on just going live, just going to show, and just here, it's not that difficult. You don't have to be on the camera. You can just show some stuff working, you just, the more you can get yourself out there and the more you can do this, because here I still have, I've done plenty of Zooms. I've done plenty of interviews this way with people, but to do, a live in-person stand-up gig, I have yet to do that. And will it be on the list? Sure. And I guess I think I've been brought up, I did a couple things with the Rhinestone World, and Matt's like, come on, get up here and just tell your story why you do that, why I do this. Okay. And you're just kind of put on the spot and you go. And I think that's what helped, because I'm let's just roll with it and see what happens. Because anytime I kind of have to produce something or do anything, it does kind of fall on my face. Aaron knows that for me. here, this, I just need you to, these 3 sentences. Can you take care of this? Yep. 30 minutes later, I'm like, why can't I just do this? And it's just, it's a total different beast for me when I actually have to like try and plan out content. But when I can hit some bullet points and just yammer on, man, I seem to do fine with that.
Yeah. But like everything, Todd, practicing,
Yep.
and just keep doing it, and you're gonna get better each time. And
Yep.
just like the lives, right? Yeah. I think about where we started with 2 regular guys, for example. Like, God, that was, hate to say this, but it was awful, And 10 years later, I think we do a lot better job.
I think I did a better job this week than I did last week.
That's right.
That's right.
That's right. All right. So check that out. osg.link/MTM. So there'll be speakers all day tomorrow, speakers all day on Friday as well. If you do want to see some of the past stuff, there is actually a VIP option where you'll get all the recordings. Plus, like some of the speakers were sharing some of the stuff that they were giving. I mean, we're talking, the stuff that they're giving away, and as speakers, I know what we're giving away from our success group. I won't give it away in advance here. And I know that's definitely of really good value. And I was hoping that the rest of the speakers would show up with that kind of value too. And they totally did. So you could get that VIP option and get all the past stuff. There's a little networking thing tomorrow night that you'd be invited to as well. Plus, then you get bonuses from these 21 different speakers. So
that sounds awesome.
Could be worth it. We're checking out, but it is free. So you don't have to spend a single dime to show up all day tomorrow and show up all day on Friday and get tons of great golden nuggets out of this thing.
I think we'll definitely be there on Thursday. Friday we've got a busy day. Friday, I think we are going to just rename Friday Education Friday, because I'm going to kick off the day at 8:30 in the morning, and then actually from that I got to go in person with a potential. We'll chat with you after that about that. But I've got to go in person with that. Then who do you guys got for 2 real guys on Friday? Is this this one? There's no show.
So actually, Terry's in Atlantic City.
Yep.
So I'm actually bringing in a guest host in Jay Bassell.
Oh,
Jay Bassell will be joining me, and then we're bringing in Adrian Palmer from Screen Printing Magazine, and we're going to talk about trends, apparel trends. So,
in my mind, that just went to a whole new show. You and Jay, there's tacos and wings. I mean, tacos, wings, and things. Here we go.
Awesome appetizers, or so they are. Awesome edibles. I don't know. That's a different show too. So
that would be a show right there.
Yeah. All right. So Richard, hey, good to see you. Glad you're here. Catch the replay. I think we covered some good stuff today. Hello, Walker Woods Creation. Thanks for being here. All right. Todd, anything else that you've got going on?
No, like I said, we got morning mindset, 8:30. Hopefully everything shows up on YouTube land, and this is why we put in different places, because maybe it'll show up bound to show up one place. So that's just over at fatdadlive.com. You'll be able to find that Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 8:30 a.m. in the Central Standard Time Zone. That's
nice.
Where we'll be. All
right. Well, I'm gonna share one last thing. So we rounded out an hour here.
Yep.
I finally figured out what you were saying with the fetch thing. So, but I'm going to make this a thing, damn it. Like, I've had people reach out to me, and I will record a volley and send it back to them on Messenger. Right? It's like, I just want to get off Facebook Messenger. It's really my deal. So osg.link/volley, growing slowly, very slowly growing community over there. Opportunity. Todd, what's volley to you? You and I volley back and forth all the time.
Volley to me is a cross between Discord and an answering machine on FaceTime. It's right there. I leave a message. Yeah. You get back to me with it. You can post links. You can, I think I like it. It won't take much to grow on me. It'll just take more people because, like a lot of it right now is what I think, it's basically sending a video over Messenger, here, just doing this and that. But I think it's a lot more streamlined. And the one thing that I did notice was, even if service is crap, that sometimes you won't get the video, but you'll get the audio just fine. And so you're able to get that. And then some of those auto-generated captions, amazing, because you're like, wait, what? Because I can read those. Like when it comes through, I can see, when Aaron says something about this, I can see see that on my phone from the notification. Okay, here's this. But sometimes it's not right, because for a while I'm like, who's Kyle? What's Kyle figuring out for dinner? I don't get. I'm like, oh, now when I listen,
it's AI. It takes a little bit to learn, right? Yeah. So, so you've got that, right? They call it asynchronous communication because it is you can share and sharing a video chat to me is just so much more. I connect, right? I understand what Todd's actually saying to me when we do that. So there's that part of it, which is really cool. But then there's also this opportunity. So what our link sends you to is to the OSG space where we talk about success principles. We talk about business tips. And I plan on just sharing a bunch of content in there, and hopefully people will jump in and share their takes. And we've already had some of that. So, just another way to learn, right? And then you don't have to worry about when we're going live or anything like that. It's okay. I say my part. You ask the question back. I reply. Somebody else replies, right? It's like being at a networking party with people, talking about the latest and greatest thing, but I don't have to be there, right? I can show up. I can pop in and out of that party anytime I want. So.
Yeah, it's way better than the bubble thing.
Oh yeah, way better than the bubble thing. We tried. Hey, we got to try all the cool tools.
We got to try it out.
And this one, I hope that will stick. So I hope to see you guys over there on Volley, and osg.link/Volley will get you there. And once you show up in the group, I'll even send you a little personal Volley saying, "Hey, jump in."
Yeah.
I think I pretty much.
When we can do lives in Volley, we'll watch out there because then we can put a little Q&A, TNA live Volley.
Well, we can do a channel that's Q&A, TNA, and then you just
let's
ask
do that.
a question. It's not live. I know people that are using this tool to actually record podcast episodes.
Oh,
but they record it over the span of like a week. And it's like, hey, so if I was interviewing Todd, I'd send him a Volley and say, hey, Todd, so what do you think about this? And then you reply, and then I can download all that stuff and make a podcast episode out of it. I thought that was really cool.
that is a pretty cool thing.
Yeah. So anyhow, we go way in the weeds on that.
It is definitely fetch.
We're good, but I don't want it to be, right? I wanted to make it work.
I love it. I love it that we get you to know what a Mean Girls reference is.
I had no clue. All right. I had to go look up the YouTube video of it. You sent it to me, right?
Yeah,
you did.
You're like, I don't get it. I'm like, here you go.
No clue what you're
I should have said, go ask Kylene. She would be like, yeah, I know what it is here.
I'm going to go ask her if she's actually seen that. All right.
Yeah.
All right.
You should go see whatever she's doing and say, that's so fetch. And just see what she does. Do it.
All right. When I go upstairs, that's the first thing.
Make a volley.
Yeah, I will volley her that. That's a good idea. All right. Well, before we get too much further off the rails, thank you guys for being here tonight. Next Wednesday, see us back for Q&A. Yep. And then, lots of stuff happening over the next few days. Hopefully I'll see a lot of you guys at Mountaintop Motivation tomorrow. And then Todd, morning mindset.
Thank you, Travis. Travis named it Morning Mindset.
Morning Mindset. Okay. I thought it was morning meditation because that's the drink I get at First Watch. So
yeah, I don't know. No. Morning Mindset. Let's go.
All right. Everybody. We'll see you very soon. Thanks for tuning in.
See you guys.